Alright, what is going on everyone? Welcome to a new YouTube video. Today I'm going to be talking about the infamous and almighty Canon 1DX Mark II. Let's get into it. So first things first, there's a couple reasons why I wanted to make this video in the first place. The first being I've actually owned this camera for over 2 years now. I found a photo on my iPhone from 2 years ago, a little bit longer actually, April of 2017. That's when I bought this thing. I remember walking into the camera store, spending about $7,000 on this camera, which back then was literally every single dollar that I had saved up back then. And I decided to buy this camera. You know, I was very nervous, also excited, but I really felt like this camera could help me take my business to the next level, especially on the video side of things. You know, I hadn't really shot a lot of video before buying this camera, and I decided that this was gonna be kind of the turning point of me shooting a lot more video. And since then, it's really helped me grow this YouTube channel as well as my photography business, all in all. Everything from commercial photography to video, filmmaking, YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff. This thing has been like my main workhorse for all of that over the last 2 years. So I'm really impressed with this camera. I have lots of things to say about it, about like what I like, what I dislike, and I thought it'd be interesting to talk about kind of the longevity of this camera as well, because I haven't really seen a lot of videos on the internet talking about that. Mostly they just talk about all the different specs of this camera. It can shoot this, it can shoot that, all that stuff. That's not really interesting to me. I want to know, you know, if I'm someone that's going to make such a big investment like this camera, I want to know what it's going to be like, you know, years and years and years down the road. Is it going to stand the test of time? And is it just, you know, is it going to be able to live up to the high quality production that I need out of a camera like this? So with all that being said, would love to jump into it and explain to you guys some of my thoughts. I'm going to be talking about what I love about this camera, what I wish should be changed, you know, what could be changed, and then, you know, the next iteration of this camera, if there is one. All that stuff. Stoked to talk about it. Let's jump into it. So starting off with the things that I actually really love about this camera, the first thing being the video quality of this camera is incredible. I'm sure you guys kind of noticed, I was filming a couple of my videos with the 5D Mark IV, if you look at like the first couple of videos of this YouTube channel. And then once I bumped up to this camera, the quality got like exponentially better in my opinion. The 4K 60 frames a second is really amazing. I don't really like shooting 120, so I'm not even gonna talk about that. A lot of cameras shoot 120 FPS nowadays, but I really think the 4K 60 frames per second is like the selling point to me of this camera. The ability to shoot 60 frames at 4K on a DSLR body is pretty amazing. Also the 24 frames per second is so cinematic. It just looks beautiful, you know, and I'm gonna pair it with like a Ronin, or I'm gonna pair it, you know, even on a tripod, whatever that may have you. This camera for video is beautiful, you know, and I think it's really allowed me to grow within the camera, which I don't think a lot of cameras really allow you to do. I think I had a lot to learn when I bought this camera, and I really think this camera has helped me. It's taught me a lot about like how to shoot video properly, what I'm looking for in my next video camera purchase, which probably won't be for a long time because I love this thing. But yeah, just like in general, like this camera has shown me like what I can do with video, you know, what I'm capable of, and I love this camera for that. I think it's really just helped me grow a lot as a filmmaker in general. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the amazing autofocus on this camera. It has dual pixel autofocus. For those of you that don't know, Canon dual pixel autofocus is among the best autofocuses on the planet. Especially for video, I love the face tracking, especially, you know, if I'm setting up a camera in a setting like this, I have the camera sitting like right here and it's filming me. It has no problems picking up my face no matter what. You know, I can move a little bit like this and it's just gonna stay right in front and keep my face in focus because it's tracking my face. And I think that is just like a really huge selling point for me as well. I'm not doing a lot of manual focus work, mostly for YouTube, because I need the video to be as efficient as possible. So the Canon 1DX paired with like some really nice Canon glass really helps, and the autofocus is just so on point. So I really love that as well. From the photography side of things, this camera is only 20 megapixels, and I say that doesn't really matter as much as some of you might think. You know, it has a beautiful full frame CMOS sensor, and you know, the images to me look beautiful out of this camera. I can crop in, all that stuff. It looks great to me. So I wouldn't really worry too much about that megapixel number. Obviously, if it's like really low, you know, like 10 to 15, you might want to take a look at it. But other than that, you know, honestly, like the megapixel count shouldn't matter as much as you guys might be making it out to be. The 20 megapixels is perfect, you know, for everything that I do, and that is, you know, commercial work. Even when I'm shooting cars, I'm shooting people, shooting clothing brands, shoes, all that stuff. This camera is usually the go-to for that as well, and the 20 megapixels has been just fine for that. The next thing is obviously the color science. Canon color science is absolutely incredible. I'm sure you've heard the term Canon color science from tons of different people. And what does that exactly mean? You know, to me, it means that right out of the box, every single Canon camera that I've ever used has really just been beautiful. The colors look amazing. I don't really have to do a lot of tweaking in post, unless it's, you know, crappy light or whatever. But for the most part, I don't have to do nearly as much as I would on another camera. The colors on this camera, especially, you know, for photo and video needs and the stuff that I'm doing here on YouTube, it's perfect for that. And the colors just look great out of the camera. You know, you can adjust your picture profiles, especially when you're shooting video, because you are shooting motion JPEG video. Whatever you do adjust in camera will be what's when you put on your computer. So I do adjust like the contrast and saturation a little bit to, you know, give it the look that I want. But all in all, just the colors on this camera are pretty incredible. I also love the fact that there's no rolling shutter with this camera. A lot of different cameras have that rolling shutter, especially when you're kind of whipping like this, and not to say I do a lot of that whipping, but I like to know that when I'm shooting a subject, especially one that's moving, I don't have to worry about the rolling shutter as much. And that's like something that's super important to me, and I didn't really realize how much I enjoyed not having it until I didn't have to worry about it anymore. But a lot of the cameras that I have shot on do have a pretty bad rolling shutter problem, so something to keep on the lookout for, but I wouldn't say it's a make or break sort of thing. Obviously, it's nice that this camera doesn't really have too much of that, but if you're looking at another camera and it does have a rolling shutter problem, I wouldn't say that's a huge make or break deal. It is nice that this camera, you don't have to worry about it. The last thing that I really do love about this camera is just how robust and weather sealed this body is. You know, so you got the battery right here that comes out, but once you lock that in there, man, this thing is just airtight. I have taken this all over the world, to Ethiopia, Thailand, New Zealand like 3 times, Japan, you know, all around the world. And I've never had a problem with this camera breaking down on me, and I think that's just such a testament to the pro grade of this camera. You never have to worry, you know, and like I think as a working professional who really relies on my camera gear a lot, this camera just doesn't fail me. And I think that's just such a testament to this camera body and like, you know, how much this body does cost you, yes, but over years and years of use, this camera has proven to just be such an incredible, hardworking camera, and it never has failed me. So moving on to things that I don't like, the list is actually pretty short, but I am gonna name a few things. The first thing being, I wish there was log on this camera. I realize that not a lot of Canon cameras have log. I think the Mark IV does and the EOS R both have log. But I think I would love to see like a log profile in a future, you know, Canon 1DX model if that does come out. I think log really does help, especially, you know, with the dynamic range and the ability to color easily. So that was something I would really like to see, as well as the motion JPEG codec really is just massive. It fills up the cards so fast, and the fact that they're these really expensive like CFast cards that go right in here. It's just like, it's kind of a hassle and it's really expensive. I've purchased 2 CFast cards for a total of $900 to just give you an idea of how much those cost. So that is also a pretty annoying thing about this camera, but all of those things aside, honestly, I really think that this camera, for me, has been perfect. It really just ticks all of the boxes for me, and I don't really see any other options out there that like provide the photo and video quality while in this also, you know, DSLR form factor. I really do think, compared to a lot of the other options out there, for everything that this camera has packed into it, all the features and everything, this is exactly what I need, and is what I have needed over the last couple of years, and I don't really see myself getting anything else in the future for a while until something comes out that's either smaller or has, you know, something really like that just speaks to me that I think that I really need. I would suggest if you guys are looking to pick up one, I would rent one probably first just to see how you like it, and then you can kind of make your decision. But for me, this camera is just simply incredible, and I have really enjoyed using it, and I will continue to enjoy using it for years to come, hopefully. So that concludes today's video of the Canon 1DX Mark II. Yeah, I just wanted to give you guys kind of a quick run through of like why I've enjoyed shooting with this camera so much. Thank you so much for watching. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Excited to push some more videos out in the next coming weeks, and we'll see ya in the next one.